So, namaste.
Namaste, Shailendra. You know, we are very happy to be with you again. Very, very, very happy.
I'm also very happy.
So, welcome, Shailendra, again. Thank you very
Ma-
much to be with us.
Namaste, namaste.
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 Once you opened the secrets of the subtitles of Hindi books given by Osho, which is available on the Sannyas Week website, is there such unique secret hidden in the titles of Osho's literature as well?
Yes, it is true. There is a secret hidden which most of the people are not aware of. And I would like to indicate towards it. The secret is such that still after explaining, it remains the secret. And this is something really very mysterious. It is the very nature of godliness, the existence, that it is mysterious, it remains a secret. We all know that Osho has spoken on so many subjects, a vast variety of topics. He spoke almost on every enlightened person in the world. And he gave beautiful titles to his books. Most of these titles are very poetic, symbolic, indicating towards something. In Hindi, there are many titles which are part of the poetic line. Most of the saints in India, they have not spoken in prose, they have written poetries or they have sung the songs. So Osho has chosen titles based on these songs, a small line, 1/4 of the line, and that is very, very symbolic. When I realized the sound of Om myself, it is echoing within me, it is echoing in the whole cosmos, then something clicked to me. I went through Osho literature and looked at the titles and found that Osho is indicating towards Om, the soundless sound, in almost 25% of his books. That is to say, almost 150 books out of 600 books. The titles are indicating very, very clearly towards the sound of Om. I was surprised. I have not noticed this before. I used to work in Pune Ashram and in the department of publication. I was always going through the books, but I never saw this point from this angle. So when I realized it within myself, at the same time, I came to realize that Osho has given these beautiful poetic titles to his books, which are indicating towards the sound, the existential, the celestial music, which is happening everywhere, inside as well as outside. So Osho has selected these particular titles, which I'm going to disclose their meaning. Some are very, very simple. We can immediately understand he's pointing towards Om. In some, it is indirect way, a symbolic way. So sometimes it is very, very direct, and sometimes in an indirect way, giving a symbol, a poetic meaning to it. So I'm going to discuss many, many titles from English and many, many titles from Hindi, and you will be surprised to know when you look at these titles, they are so clear that Osho's main teaching is to listen the sound of Om. Normally, we never think in this way. We think in some other ways that his teaching is meditation or watchfulness or love or celebration and so many other points we can think of. But if you analyze the titles themselves, it becomes very, very clear that the main teaching, the main target of all spiritual practices is to listen the sound of Om, which is also called Omkar. In Hindi, it is called by saints as Naam. In Hindi, we can call it name. Osho has given a title. The Hindi title was Ek Onkar Satnam. And when it was translated, Osho gave the true name. So these two words are very similar, name in English and naam in Hindi. In India, the saints have not called God directly as God. It is part of the culture that we do not take the name of mother, our father, our husband, our wife, our God. We do not take the name directly. It is insulting. The wife never calls the husband by his name. The husband never calls the wife by her name. Children do not take the name of the father or mother. It is thought that it is not respectful to call by name. So how can we call God by name? So there are 1,000 names of God according to the Hindu scripture. There is one scripture which is titled Vishnu Sahasranam. That means 1,000 names of God. But usually the saints do not call God by name. They just say name, Nam, Satnam, the true name. Without mentioning the name, they just call Nam. So there are many, many titles based in Hindi on this Nam. That sound is not exactly like Om. Some people can hear it like Nam or Ram. So there was a historical person, Ram, but this sound echoing within our consciousness, it is somehow similar to the pronunciation of Ram also. So somebody may listen it as Om, somebody may listen at Nam or Ram. So there are many books titled by Ram, many books in Hindi. And there Osho does not mean the son of the king Dasarath, which happened 5,000 years ago in Ayodhya. Osho is not talking about that Ram, that historical person, but he's talking about the Ram. He explains again and again, if you be silent, your thoughts disappear, then you will hear the sound within yourself as if someone is chanting very fast with great speed, Ram, 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 or Om, 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 something like that. Not exactly Ram, not exactly Om. It is so fast that later on, the initial pronunciation of Ra or O disappears and only humming sound remains behind. As if thousands of honeybees are passing by and making a buzzing sound, something like that happens within. So that is called Nam, Ram, Hari. It is called unstruck sound, as the Japanese Zen master have called it, the sound of one hand clapping. In English, we can say it the soundless sound or the unstruck sound. Usually, whatever sound we make, it is when two things strike with each other. My lips are touching each other, air passing through the vocal cords, creating the sound. My tongue is moving, touching the palate. This is creating the sound I'm speaking. So all the sounds we know of, they are two hands clapping. Now, there is a sound in consciousness. There is no duality, there is no other. So the striking two hands cannot clap. There is no other hand. In that emptiness, the sound is echoing. We cannot figure out who is creating it, how it is being done. but it is echoing there all the time continuously. So it is called unstruck sound. The Hindi word for is anahat. It means exactly same as sound without striking. Then a new word also came, anhad, used by the Muslim Sufis. So these are different words used for the sound of Om. In English, the sound or the inner music or the divine melody or the heartbeat of the absolute, the cosmic sound. There are so many names used for it, but it is not as we know the ordinary sound. It is soundless. It is not a vibration. No physical instrument, no scientific instrument can record it. It is so subtle. Just little thinking in the mind and we will not be able to hear it. There has to be absolute silence. Only then we can hear it. It cannot be recorded by any equipment. So this is the wonderful sound, and Osho is indicating towards it again and again, many different ways. Just like you have read the story of subtitles. Osho has given indication at least 10 months ago that he is leaving, and he has given subtitles saying that I'm going to leave soon. But at that time, we were unable to understand the meaning. Now everybody can read it and understand it immediately. Similarly, this is going to be a long story of titles, almost 150 titles, and we have to go in deep analysis of each title and find out what exactly Osho meant by it. So this will be the beginning of the first episode of this series. We will continue this over the period, and we will discuss about 150 titles given by Osho, which are indicating towards that ultimate truth he calls the sound of Om. I'm going to just mention few names here from the English literature. The secret of the secrets. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Mani Padme Hum. Sat Chit Anand. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Ancient music in the pines. The silent music. The hidden harmony. The divine melody. The true name. Heartbeat of the absolute. Behind 1,000 names, 99 names of nothingness. Vedanta, 7 steps to Samadhi. The perfect master. The first principle. The voice of silence. And the flowers showered. Dang, dang, doko, dang. Zen, the solitary bird, cuckoo of the forest. The sound of running water. The sound of one hand clapping. The language of existence, which was a renamed version of ecstasy, the forgotten language. Inner harmony, a song without words. Singing silence. Be silent and know. This is a renamed version of Be Still and Know. So these are the few English titles which are obviously indicating towards the inner music. We will go in detail of each one. And then there are more than 100 titles which indirectly indicating towards Om. So unless we go in details, we won't be able to understand it. So this is how this series is going to be, a very mysterious one. Some deep secrets will be disclosed.
One of Osho's English book is titled The Secret of the Secrets. Please explain to us what secret Osho has told in this discourse series, which is not told elsewhere.
Wonderful question. This is good to start with from the secret of the secrets. There is naturally a tendency to know why Osho has given this title and what is special in this discourse series. I went through the whole book and I found it. Let me tell you, Osho has never defined God. Many times the question was asked him in a philosophical manner, what is God? Who is God? What is the definition of God? What do you mean by God? So many questions have been asked about God. He always said, God is not definable. God is not limited, not bound. There is no boundary, there is no limitation, no beginning, no end. And definition can only happen when there is a beginning, when there is an end, when there is something else also. Suppose I have a house, I have a garden, I have a map of my house, and it can be defined that because there is a road in front of the garden, there is a neighbor on this side, another neighbor on this side, and there is a small road behind the house. So these two neighbors and these two roads, they are making the definition of my house. So somebody else is needed, a limitation is needed, a boundary is needed to make definition. How can we define God? God means everything, all inclusive, the whole existence. That which exists is God. Of course, there is no other God. The existence is just one existence. If there is something existing other than this, then we can define that this is particular existence number A, number 1, number 2, number 3, then things can be defined. But when we say the whole existence, that includes everything. Nothing is left out. So there cannot be any boundary, there cannot be any definition. This is what Osho has always said. But in this particular book, The Secret of the Secrets, Osho has revealed the topmost secret, and that is in the 15th discourse. Please read carefully, listen carefully. The 15th discourse, Osho says, God is defined as soundless sound. I researched in the whole Osho literature, all the Hindi and English books. He has never given definition anywhere else. So this is the secret of the secrets, that God is defined as soundless sound. That means the sound which is called Om. In Sanskrit and Hindi, Om is not written using the alphabets, but we have a particular symbol for it, a pictorial symbol indicating towards Om. Why? Because it cannot be called a word, it cannot be called a sound. As we know, other words are, other sounds are. Om cannot be said to be a word. Word has to have a meaning. Om has no meaning. It has great significance, but no meaning. It is not part of our day-to-day language. It is an existential sound. It existed before we existed, before human beings were there, before the languages were there. That sound prevailed all over the existence. Of course, it cannot have meaning. The words and language created by us have meaning. When I say water, I mean something. When I say bread, I mean something. When I say salt, or sun, or moon, we mean something by it. Om has no meaning, so it cannot be called a word. So it is not part of language. So how can we write it using our alphabets? So writing it as OM, Om, or AUM, Om, that is not proper. So the mystics in India have created a picture which is not part of the alphabets. And it cannot be called a sound, because sound needs something vibrating, something striking with something. Suppose somebody is playing guitar, his fingers are touching the strings of the guitar, and then the music is created. This sound of Om is not created sound. It is not the sound as we learned in our high school in the classes of physics. This is not that kind of sound. So to call it sound is wrong, to call it word is wrong, but still we have to use something. So we have to use something contradictory, which cancels itself. So the soundless sound is the word used by Osho very frequently. So he says God is defined as soundless sound. This is the topmost secret. As far as I know, only in this book he has used this definition, nowhere else. Okay?
Why has Osho kept the titles of a few English books in Sanskrit? Is there any secret behind them too?
Yes, surely, 100% sure there is a secret, because all these books which have the Hindi or Sanskrit or Tibetan title to it, it has Om hidden in it, which cannot be translated. I already told you, Om cannot be translated. We cannot call it a word, we cannot call it a sound. So what to do? When these books were getting published, I used to work in the Hindi publication department in Pune 2 days. And by my side in the other room was the English publication department. And I came to know the editor, before getting the books printed, sent a request to Osho that please change the titles of these 5 books, because who is going to buy these books? Just imagine, in a European country, you go to a library or a bookstore and you see a book titled Hari Om Tat Sat. How will you figure out what it is? Nobody is going to buy these books. The title has to be something attractive which people can understand. Who will understand these titles? Satchidanand or Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So the editor requested Osho. It was perfectly fine to give the discourse series on these titles, because disciples were hearing you. But now the time has come, we are going to send this for printing. It will be better to have title changed. Osho refused this request. He said, no, they cannot be translated. These are the Mahavakyas. Mahavakya means the great sentence. So there are just few Mahavakyas. These are some of them. Like the first one, Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari has two meanings. It means God, as well as it means a thief. Now this is very funny. God is called a thief. Osho said, you can drop the word God. That is very much philosophical. The thief, that is the real meaning. Hari Om, this sound of Om is a thief, the master thief sound. And Tat Sat means this is the truth. God is Om, this is the truth. This is the literal meaning. Hari Om Tat Sat. God is Om, this is the truth. But Osho says, I prefer the other meaning. I will call Om the master thief sound. Why? Because the ordinary thief takes your money, takes your valuables. He snatches away few things from you. But the master thief is one who will steal you from you. You will not be left behind. Nothing will be left behind. Everything will disappear. What you think of yourself, the identity, the ego, that will just evaporate. When you are listening to this sound of Om, gradually you will disappear. You will become the Om yourself. The Om is also called Nad Brahma. That means the sound of God. Brahma means the God. And Nad means the sound, the music. Osho says, when you listen with great awareness, with great love, you start dissolving in the sound of Om. Finally, you disappear. You are stolen. The sound of Om has stolen you. Nothing is left behind. Just Om is there. So the master thief sound is Om. You can replace God. The master thief sound, Osho says, I like this meaning. And that is the ultimate truth, Tat Sat. You become the sound yourself. That is the meaning when the Upanishadic mystics say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the God. Or the Sufi mystics say, Anal Haq, I am the ultimate truth. What do they mean? When you listen the sound, you become the sound. You are no more separate from it. It is just like a drop falls in the ocean and becomes the ocean, from where the word Osho comes. A river merging in the ocean is no more a river anymore. It has become undefined and unlimited. It has become ocean itself. So that is the oceanic experience. Osho explains in this Hari Om Tat Sat. The second book I would like to mention is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Most of the Hindu scriptures, they start with Om, all scriptures, and they end with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is considered as the Mahavakya, the great sentence. Nothing can go beyond it. So Om means the soundless sound, and Shanti means calm, quiet, silence, no sound. That is the meaning of Shanti. Nothing is happening. Calm, quiet, silent. So when we become calm and quiet and silent, as we enter in meditation, we start listening the sound echoing in our consciousness. Now, another thing, when we start listening, we become more and more calm and quiet and silence. The silence starts deepening. Finally, only the silence remains there and we disappear. That's why all the scriptures, they end on this Mahavakya, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now things are over. Whatever was asked is answered. No words anymore. Now be quiet and listen to the sound of Om. So that is the indication Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So there are two meanings. One in the beginning, when we become a little silent, watchful, witness to our mind, then the mind becomes quiet. Then we start listening the sound. And the second part is when we go deeper and deeper in the listening. Finally, we disappear and there is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just pure silence, silence, silence. The third book is titled as Om Mani Padme Hum. This mantra is chanted by Tibetan Lamas. This comes from Buddhist tradition. Here again the first word is Om. Padma means the lotus flower. The seventh chakra, the crown chakra, is described as 1,000-petal lotus. When the consciousness reaches to its climax, the ultimate flowering of consciousness is blossoming of the lotus. Why lotus? There were so many beautiful flowers, but lotus is chosen for a particular reason. Lotus grows in mud, but the mud cannot touch the lotus. It is untouchable. The same quality our consciousness has. It is not touched by anything. It is not affected by anything. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever is happening around, whatever event is going on, good or bad in our life, really nothing touches it. The witnessing consciousness remains like a mirror. So these are the two symbols used for consciousness. One is mirror. Anything may be getting reflected in the mirror, but nothing is printed in the mirror. Nothing touches the mirror. And the second one is this beautiful flower of lotus. Nothing touches it. So Om Mani Padme Hum. Padme means lotus, flowering of consciousness, the witnessing consciousness. Mani means the diamond. This is symbolizing the inner light, the divine light. As there is sound in the consciousness, there is light as well. It is not like the light we see outside. There is no source of that light. It is not coming from anywhere. It is not going anywhere. It is just there. No beginning, no end, not coming, not going. The light in the outside world has always a source. It may be the sun, it may be the stars, it may be getting reflected from the moon, it may be a candle or an electric bulb. It has a source. But the inner light of consciousness has no source. The light outside is traveling with a fast speed, almost 1/3 of a million kilometers per second, very fast, super fast speed. The inner light is not traveling at all. It is just there. It is not going anywhere. In India, they use a proverb, Avagaman se mukti. That means freedom from the coming and going. When we listen to the inner sound and we see the inner light, we transcend the duality of coming and going. Neither the sound is coming not going, not the light is coming and not going anywhere. It is just there. It has never started. It will never end. It is the eternal light. Light coming from a source cannot be eternal. If we are having a lamp using some fuel, when the fuel is finished, the lamp will be put off. When the electricity is coming and the bulb is lighted, if the electricity is no more there, the light will go off. There is a fuel which is getting consumed. Sun may be very, very big. It has huge amount of fuel. Atomic explosions are happening continuously. But the fuel is getting less and less and less every day. So much light and heat is radiating. The volume of the sun is becoming less and less. The scientists have calculated that our sun started about 10 billion years ago. And as it is radiating energy every moment, probably in next 5 billion years, it will be finished. The fuel is over. There will be no more any light, no more any heat. So light coming from anywhere outside in the world has heat, has energy, is traveling, and some fuel is needed there to produce it. Inside, in meditation, our awareness is just echoing with the divine sound, and it is filled with light. Not ordinary light, so we have to call it the divine light. And our ears are not needed to listen, and these eyes are not needed to see within. Actually, when we close our eyes and ears, then it is easy to recognize the sound of Om and the light. So Mani is symbolically indicating towards the divine light, and the sound of Hum can be interpreted in two ways. The Hindi word Hum means M, A-M, as in English. For example, I say, I am Shailendra. So this M, Hum. In Hindi, I will say, Main Shailendra Hum. So Hum means M, Mness, isness. So when the Tibetan Lama says, Om Mani Padme Hum, he is saying, I am Om, the divine light and the flowering of consciousness like the lotus. This is what I am. And remember, when the mystic says, I am that, Aham Brahmasmi, Analhak, he is not saying that he is someone special. He is declaring about everyone, each one of us. Whether somebody knows or somebody does not know, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the same ultimate truth. Everyone is divine, everyone is light, everyone is sound, everyone is flowering of consciousness. So this is existential truth, not particular about one individual. So that is the meaning of Hum. And another meaning, another interpretation of Hum is, it is indicating of humming sound. Osho has mentioned in the book, not exactly book, a small booklet, The Notes of a Madman. He has mentioned this mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, many, many times, every day, without any question, without any reference. Just out of the blue, suddenly he started saying, Om Mani Padme Hum. And he says, I am at the peak of my consciousness, just like I am on the Everest of the Himalaya. And there, thousands of honeybees are passing by and making a humming sound, a buzzing sound. And Osho describes it again and again, every day, many times in a day. The editor of the book was puzzled what to do, what title to give to this booklet, in which Osho is not talking about any sutra or any particular topic. He's just mentioning again and again, I'm at the peak of my consciousness and listening the buzzing sound. Om Mani Padme Hum, the humming sound. When we do Nath Brahma meditation designed by Osho, we do that humming sound. So that hum is there in Om Mani Padme Hum. And the editor, he was puzzled what to do. What title to be given to this book? He thought Osho has gone mad. He has gone crazy. What kind of buzzing sound he's talking about? I can't hear anything. So he gave the title, The Notes of a Madman. And Osho accepted, yes, perfectly fine. So you know the secret of this book also, The Notes of a Madman. Why? Because he was talking about Om and Om and Om all the time. So many times, repeatedly, because there is nothing else to say. Somehow this is the end of the saying. What else to say? This is the ultimate, the Mahavakya. So this is the meaning of Om Mani Padme Hum. Now, the next one is Satchidanand. This is combined form of three words, Sat, Chit, and Anand. Sat means the ultimate truth. You already know what is truth. Hari Om Tat Sat, that is the ultimate truth, Om. So Sat, Chit means consciousness, and Anand means bliss. The Sanskrit language is very beautiful. The words can be combined and a new word can be created, one single word, Satchidanand. There is a purpose behind it, because these three experiences, the experience of Sat, the ultimate truth, that means the soundless sound, the experience of Chit, the flowering of consciousness, the peak of awareness, and Anand, the blissfulness. These three experiences are not really three. This is the real Trinity, or Trimurti, or Triveni. These three experiences happen together. Of course, the way to reach is in the middle. That is consciousness. We have to become more and more and more aware. So meditation is the way. And these two things on the side, Sat and Anand, that means the soundless sound and the blissfulness, these will happen as a result. We cannot approach bliss directly. We cannot approach the ultimate truth directly. What we can do at the most, we can become more and more alert and aware and silent and wordless and thoughtless. And suddenly we will have these two experiences. The sound is echoing within, that is the ultimate truth, and it is full of blissfulness. It is very, very juicy. It is full of joy. So these three things, three experiences are combined in one word, that is Satchidanand. Now the last one of this series is Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Again, the Satyam means the ultimate truth, the Om. Shivam means good, and Sundaram means the beautiful. This is another way of expressing the inner experience. So Satchidanand word is used by some mystics which were more philosophical, more mathematical, have a scientific approach. And this word Satyam Shivam Sundaram is used by another mystic which does not have a scientific outlook but more of a poetic look. For him, blissfulness and consciousness, these are not so important. For him, the sound of Om, goodness, and beauty, these are important. So he defines God in another way, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. This is the approach of a poet. So Osho has explained beautifully these 5 Mahavakyas, and he insisted that the title of the books should remain as they are. Okay, next question.
Traditionally, it is said that there are 2 main ways to attain God: yoga and bhakti, meditation and devotion. Which of these should be considered more important according to Osho's vision?
This is a very important question because usually we think Osho is talking about awareness and love, yoga and bhakti, meditation and devotion. Once this question was asked in one of the Hindi discourses, I will mention the title, the 8th discourse of Sabay Sayane Ekmat. Sabay Sayane Ekmat means all the experienced people agree on one thing. And what is that one thing? I will tell you later. All the mystics agree. In the 8th discourse, the first question is, please explain the interrelationship of meditation, love, and samadhi. Samadhi means the experience of the soundless sound, merging and melting and becoming the soundless sound. So this was the question. Meditation, love, and samadhi. What is the interrelationship between the two? Osho said, meditation and love, these are 2 ways, methods, vehicles to reach to the ultimate truth, the sound of Om, and become one with it. That is the experience of samadhi. So love is one way, meditation is another way. Some people who live at the level of feeling, at the dimension of the heart, they can easily go towards godliness on the way of devotion, surrender, trust. Some people who live at the level of the mind, thinking, for them meditation is easier to become aware, to become a witness of their own thinking process. This is one way. So yoga is one way, mainly used for masculine seekers, and devotion is other way, mainly used by feminine seekers. The whole humanity can be divided in males and females. These are the main 2 types. And when I'm saying feminine or masculine, I don't mean physically male or female. There are few males who are full of feelings, sentiments, and living at the level of the heart. They are feminine, psychologically, spiritually. Just the opposite also true. There may be some rare females who are masculine. So the path of devotion is for feminine and path of meditation is for masculine people. But these are only ways. These are the vehicles. This is not the ultimate goal. Finally, you have to reach to samadhi. That is the ultimate goal. And samadhi means when you dissolve in the sound of Om. For some time, you are no more separate from the existence. You have become one with it. That is the experience of samadhi. So meditation is one way. Devotion is one way. And I would like to read Osho's words, this quotation from the book Hari Om Tat Sat. This will give you exactly what I was just saying. All that we are searching for in meditation is nothing but this master thief sound. And the last part of your question is, how is it that I can recognize that which I have not realized? If you can recognize it, that is an absolute guarantee that you must have realized it in some unconscious way. Perhaps you have forgotten your realization. Each child is born with the realization. You can recognize things which you may not have consciously realized, but which must be an undercurrent of realization within you. This was the question asked by Ma Manisha in Hari Om Tat Sat, and she has said that I can recognize it, but I have not realized the soundless sound. How is this happening? Osho says, everybody has that realization. When we were a small child, when we didn't know any language, no words, we were always listening the divine sound. In mother's womb, for 9-10 months, the baby continuously listening the divine sound. He is watching the divine light. He has nothing else to do. When the baby is born, his sense organs become extrovert. He starts looking outside. He starts listening outside. He touches, he smells, he takes taste outside. All the sense organs open to the outside world, and gradually he starts forgetting the inner. So everyone has that realization. By the time the baby is 1 year or 1.5 years, he or she starts speaking, learning words, gradually sentences, then school and college and big education for 25-30 years, and then there are words and words and words and memories in the mind, and the divine nature is covered. It is not destroyed. The divine sound is still echoing there. The consciousness is shining with light, still there, but it is all covered with thoughts, with feelings, with sentiments, with emotions, with philosophies, with theories and theologies, so many things. And we are busy in outside world all the time. We don't have time to go in and see what is happening there. So gradually, by 2 or 3 years age, the child becomes perfectly extrovert. But at least for early 3 years and 9-10 months in mother's womb, we were listening the divine sound. We knew the ultimate truth. We have recognized it. We have realized it. And after explaining the meaning of Hari Om Tat Sat to Manisha, Osho said, I have always condemned the story of Gautam Buddha, that when he was born, his mother was standing Buddha was born standing, and he walked 7 feet, and he declared to the world that I am the most enlightened person, the most awakened person. Osho said, I have always criticized and make jokes of this story, but today I have to make a balance. I will tell you the real hidden secret behind this beautiful story. It is not a fact, but it indicates towards a truth. Every baby after birth would like to declare to the world that I am the most blissful, the most conscious, the most divine, the most enlightened person. The baby cannot say, the baby cannot walk. If the baby could walk and the baby could say, yes, this will be declared by every baby. So this is the hidden meaning. The divine sound is echoing there. The master thief is there. The divine light is there. The Padma, the consciousness, the money, the diamond is shining there. So every baby knows it. In the early childhood, we all knew it. And psychologists say that probably the search for samadhi, the spiritual experience, is nothing but a willingness for regression. We want to go back to those moments when we didn't know any language. We could not do any activity. We were just passively aware, listening the divine sound, watching the wonderful light, and at the peak climax of the consciousness. So Osho says, today, that means the first discourse of Hari Om Tat Sat, Osho said, when I leave the auditorium, I go back to my room, then everybody will stand up, walk 7 feet, and declare to the world, I am the most enlightened person, I am the Buddha. And this was done. I was there, fortunately, and everybody did it. So please remember, whether we use the path of devotion or the path of meditation, yoga or bhakti, the ultimate goal is one. These are two vehicles. They are not goals in themselves. They are means to reach somewhere. If somebody keeps on doing meditation and meditation and meditation only, he's crazy. Or if someone is just doing devotion and devotion and devotion, it's crazy. The vehicle in itself is not the target. The vehicle is supposed to take us somewhere. What is that somewhere? What is the target? The ultimate purpose of devotion and meditation or any other means. There are so many ways. Tantra, Tao, Jain, Baul. So many ways. And many more can be discovered in future. But remember, they are only means. They are not target. The target is one. And that is samadhi. This is explained by Osho in many, many discourses. Samadhi is the target. In Ek Onkar Satnam, Hindi series on Guru Nanak Dev, Osho says, Nanak was a devotee. He was not a meditator and he enjoyed singing. So in ordinary way, neither he was a meditator nor a devotee as we think of devotees. He was not like that. He was just a singer, a music lover. He usually have two friends, Bala and Mardana. And when Nanak used to sing, they started playing on their instruments accompanying him. So that was his whole life, singing and singing and singing. And while doing singing, merging in the melody, suddenly he became aware of the divine melody. Osho has said many times that it is very easy for musicians to reach to the ultimate truth. In many discourses, Osho has said, if you are a musician, you don't need any meditation. Music is enough in itself. You don't need any other technique. Just drown yourself in music and you will reach to the ultimate truth, which it is very close, particularly for musicians, for singers. So Nanak achieved this ultimate state. He remained drowned for 3 days. So the story says that he was singing on the bank of a river and he got drowned in the river. This is just symbolic. And after 3 days, he came out of the river. And then the first thing he declared to the world is these 3 words, Ek Onkar Satnam. Om is the one ultimate name, the true name. This is the meaning of Ek Onkar Satnam. So 3 days he was drowned in Samadhi. And Osho says, Osho has given 20 discourses on Ek Onkar Satnam, but in the first discourse he mentioned that if you have understood these 3 words, Ek Onkar Satnam, one, Om, true name, the scripture of Nanak is over, finished. There is nothing more to say. He has said everything a spiritual person can say. But he knows you won't understand it in such a short formula. So he says again in different ways, describes. But remember, it is all repetition. The truth is one. So whatever way Nanak expresses, of course it will be repetition. There are not many truths. There is only one truth, and that is the sound of Om. So this experience of Samadhi is drowning in Om. So ultimate target of meditation and devotion or any other technology of spiritualism, the target is Om. In one book, Athato Bhakti Jigyasa, that is a Hindi discourse series, Osho divides bhakti in 2 parts. One is Gaudi Bhakti, that means secondary bhakti, means to achieve to the ultimate, and the other is Para Bhakti, the ultimate, the transcendental devotion. So the transcendental devotion is falling in love with the soundless sound. And the Gaudi Bhakti, we can also call them primary and secondary, the initial and the ultimate. So the initial bhakti, what we know of devotion in the world, that is all primary bhakti. These are means to reach to the ultimate, the para bhakti. And that is falling in love with Om, becoming one with Om, that is the Samadhi. So that is the ultimate experience. Okay?
Till 1973, Osho used to take meditation camps at various natural places. Since 1974, Samadhi Sadhana Shivir was started at the ashram of Pune. Why the name was changed?
As I have already told, meditation is a vehicle, a means, a way to reach to the ultimate. So initially, when Osho was conducting camps, they were called meditation camps. In Hindi, they were called Dhyan Shivir. He was teaching to become more alert, more conscious, be a witness, be loving, be compassionate. So many things he was teaching. And as many people became ready to take the final jump, from 1974 in Pune Ashram, he started 10 days camp, which was called the Samadhi Shivir. Samadhi camp, not meditation camp anymore. So we can think of meditation and devotion as primary school of the education. We have to start from there, from the beginning. And as we start growing, we go to the higher school, then we go to the college, then we go to the university, and then there is doctorate, PhD. Similarly, the path of spiritualism, we go slowly, step by step by step. So in the initial phase, up to 1973, it was meditation camp. After 74, it was Samadhi camp. So every month from 11th to 20th, these 10 days were the Samadhi camp. And many times Osho has used this word himself. For example, I will read you a quotation from the book Shiva Sutra that was given in the early days of Pune. Osho says, in the 10th, the last discourse of Shiva Sutra, take this Maha Mantra Om with you from this Samadhi camp and use it regularly. The mantra is like a seed. You cannot be in hurry with seeds. It will germinate in its own time. Your hassle will only result in the opposite effect, that it may never sprout. If you do it patiently for 3 months, you will be filled with great sweet juices, which Kabir has called the jaggery of a dumb man. And once that jaggery comes into taste, then there is no difficulty. Then wherever you are, it is perfectly fine. What you are doing is fine. Then the world becomes dreamy. Life is no more than an act. You become a witness. Your sakshitva is shivatva. You become Shiva. In the 4th discourse of Shiva Sutra, Osho has explained the science of mantra in great details. And he said, on the last day, I will give you the technique. And on the last day, he gave the technique. He spoke on technique itself for about 1 hour. In 4 steps. First is shouting loudly, Om, 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 Om. Using your whole body, getting involved 100%. Then sitting down and close your mouths and repeat within. So first was using the physical body, creating physical sound. Now only mental chanting of the mantra. Just with fast speed, Om, 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 without any word outside. Lips are closed, but the mind is fully involved. And third is, now stop chanting inside and try to listen. Is there any sound happening without me? I'm not doing anything physically or mentally. Just be sensitive and try to feel what is happening there. And ultimately, you will start hearing the sound of Om within yourself. That is the final. That is the Samadhi. And in the end, Osho suggested it will be good to add one more step before beginning the chanting of mantra. You can do some catharsis, some shouting and jumping and jogging or laughing, crying, whatever you wish to do. As you do in second step of dynamic meditation, do it for 10 minutes. That will make you relaxed, come back to yourself. So actually there were only 3 steps, but Osho added one more. He said this will be useful for many people. Otherwise you won't be able to be silent so easily. First go mad, then shouting Om, 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 then sitting with closed eyes, chanting mentally only, and then stop chanting and listen. And this listening will take you to the ultimate goal. So when Osho says, take this Maha Mantra means the great mantra. All other mantras are small mantras. Om is the great mantra. Take this Maha Mantra Om with you from this Samadhi camp and use it regularly. So he's talking about this Om, and he's using the word Samadhi camp. He has used many times this word Samadhi camp. So please be aware what Osho is explaining in meditation camps was for beginners, immatures, and what he's talking about in Samadhi camps after 74, this is for more mature seekers. Okay?
In March 1981, Osho suddenly observed silence. At this time, 2 books were published, Bahu der Hein Gat and The Sound of One Hand Clapping. Do these also indicate a spiritual goal?
Yes, your question is very, very significant. As there was a phase for beginners, then there was a phase for more mature people. On 24th March 1981, Osho declared, now a new phase of my work starts. Now this is for very mature seekers. The beginners will miss, they cannot catch hold of anything. And this will be the phase of silence. Osho will not speak anymore. So the last discourse was given on 24th March. That series has started on 21st. There were only 4 talks in this series, which is titled Bahu Tere Hain Ghat. And the Darshan Diary, you know that every month a Darshan Diary was compiled, what Osho has said in the evening Darshan, explaining the meaning of names, giving some meditation techniques. Whatever he said in the evening, that was compiled every month in a Darshan Diary. So the last Darshan Diary is from 1st March to 23rd March. On 24th, only the morning Hindi discourse happened, nothing in the evening. So these 23 days compilation of Darshan, Osho gave the title, The Sound of One Hand Clapping. These are the last of his 2 books, remember, before entering into silence. And in this book, The Sound of One Hand Clapping, do you know Osho has used this phrase almost 80 times. In 23 days, he used this, the sound of one hand clapping, 80 times. This means almost 4 times every night he was explaining the sound of one hand clapping. 4 times daily. I don't think anybody may have noticed this. Please read that book, The Sound of One Hand Clapping. This is too much. Before entering into great silence, the new phase for really spiritually mature seekers. Now he is not going to speak. He is not going to say, he has said. And the final, the sound of one hand clapping, indicating towards the unstruck sound of Om. Osho has explained it in so many ways, in 80 ways, in 23 days. This is something final, climax of what he can say. After that, only silence can happen. Nothing else can be said. He has said the final. And same thing about the Hindi book title, Bahu Tere Hain Ghat, that is based on few poetic lines of Saint Paltu. And the whole line means that there are many, many ways to reach to the ultimate. The ultimate is name. In Hindi, Paltu calls it Naam, the true name. That means Om. Ghat means a place from where a boat starts in the river. So on this side, on this bank of the river is this our world, and the other side, the other shore, is godliness, the divine, the samadhi, the enlightenment. And Paltu says there may be many places from where the boat will start. Krishna has made one ghat, Mahavira has made one ghat. In Hindi, another word for ghat is tirth. Osho has given this name to many of his disciples. Tirth. So tirtha means a holy place, and that means from there you can ride on the boat and go to the other shore. So Paltu says there are many, many ghat, many tirth from where the boat begins, and there are many different kind of boats. The boat of Jain, the boat of Tao, boat of Hasids, very different. The boat of Baus, boat of Sufis, very different from each other. The Buddhist boat, the Jaina boat, the boat of devotion, the boat of meditation, the boat of yogi, so many boats, and many more can be there. So he says, Bahu tere hain ghat. There are many, many, many ghat. There are many, many, many kinds of boats on which you can travel. But finally, where you will reach, the other shore is the true name of God. That is the ultimate shore. So it doesn't matter from where you start. You will reach to the other shore. Finally, the Om is found. This is the meaning Osho has given to the Hindi book, Bahu Tere Hain Ghat. So finally, these two books, before the silent phase started, very significant meaning. There should be no conflict between people using different techniques. All over the world, people are fighting with each other. Somebody is declaring my path is the right path, my boat is the right boat, and everybody else is wrong. This technique is the perfect technique. Everything else is not right, not proper. The devotees think the yoga is useless, just physical exercises. The yogis think the devotees are mad, insane people. Nobody has any good idea about the other person. Everybody thinks my way is the right way, only right way. Muslims think their way is the only right way. All others are irreligious people. They are sinners. Only the Muslims, they are pious people. Everybody else is a sinner, irreligious, against God. Somehow everybody has this idea. The Christian thinks only the Christian is right. All others should be converted to Christianity. The Buddhists think in the same way. Remember, Buddha did not think in that way, but Buddhists think in that way. Hindus think in this way. Only Hindus are the right people. They will reach to the paradise. All others will fall into hell. Why this discrimination? If we can understand this last title, Bahu Tere Hain Ghat, there are many ghat, many ways, many votes, many vehicles, all different from each other. And everything can take us to the final destination. So there should be no conflict that this boat is right, that boat is right. They are different, but that does not mean they are wrong. The boat has the capacity to take you to the other shore, and that is perfectly fine. So it doesn't matter which boat we use. If we understand the other shore, which is echoing with divine sound, then we can understand this meaning of Bahu Tere Hain Ghat and the sound of one hand clapping. And these are before the final phase of Osho started in 1981. He entered in silence. Okay.
Okay. Last question. One book is titled "And the Flowers Showered." What is the true meaning of showering flowers?
Well, I will not say anything from my side. I will just read the quotation from Osho. You will get the point. Subhuti was one of Buddha's disciples. He was able to understand the potency of emptiness, the viewpoint that nothing exists except in its relationship of subjectivity and objectivity. One day, when Subhuti was sitting under a tree in a mood of sublime emptiness, flowers began to shower all around him. "We are praising you for your discourse on emptiness," the gods whispered to him. "But I have not spoken of emptiness," said Subhuti. "You have not spoken of emptiness. We have not heard emptiness," responded the gods. "This is true emptiness." And blossoms showered upon Subhuti like rain. This was the story. Osho is going to give a speech on it. Now listen to Osho's words. "This is one of the most beautiful stories I have come across. A great meaning is hidden there. If you are silent, if you are utterly silent, existence starts showering on you. Blessings shower on you like rain. If you are silent, if you are in the state of meditation, just being and doing nothing, the whole existence converges upon you with all its great, with all its beauty and benediction." Subhuti was sitting under a tree, not even meditating. He was just sitting and doing nothing. And then suddenly flowers began to fall around him. And those were not ordinary flowers, not of this world, not earthly. They were not falling from the trees, they were falling from the sky, from nowhere, out of the blue. He had never seen such beauty and such freshness and such fragrance. Those were the flowers of the beyond, golden flowers. He was naturally in awe and wonder. And then he heard the gods whispering to him, "We are praising you for your discourse on emptiness." Now he was really puzzled. Discourse on emptiness, but I have not spoken of emptiness, said Subhuti. You have not spoken of emptiness. We have not heard emptiness, responded the gods. This is true emptiness. And blossom showered upon Subhuti like rain. When one is really empty, there is nothing other than emptiness, not even the awareness of emptiness. Not even the witness is there. One is perfectly alert, one is not asleep, but the witness is not there. It goes beyond witnessing, because whenever you witness something, there is a slight tension inside, a subtle effort, and then emptiness is something else and you are somebody else. You witness it. Then you are not empty. Then emptiness is again just a thought in the mind. When you are really empty, you will see something from the beyond start descending in you. A dancing energy enters in you, in your every cell. You are full of song, wordless, soundless, a divine music, in which music there is nobody who is looking. In this music, there is nobody who is looked at. The observer is the observed. The dancer has become the dance, and all duality has disappeared. Let me repeat few lines again. When you are empty, you will see something from the beyond starts descending in you. A dancing energy enters in you, in your every cell. You are full of song, wordless, soundless, a divine music. In this music, there is nobody who is looking. In this music, there is nobody who is looked at. The observer is the observed. The dancer has become the dance, and all duality has disappeared. So this is beyond meditation. Subhuti was not even doing meditation. This is beyond witnessing. Now you can understand meditation and witnessing awareness is the means to take us there, where the flowers of divine music start showering. The whole existence pours its grace, its beauty upon us. There is no duality in it. In witnessing, there is a duality. I am watching thoughts. Of course, I am the watcher, and thoughts are watched at, looked at. When this divine music is there, nobody is creating the music. There is nobody who is listening the music. You have disappeared. You are stolen. The Hari has taken you. The master thief has taken you away. Nobody is there. Only the music. Only the light. No object, no subject. All duality disappears. So that's the meaning of the title, And the Flowers Showered. There are 10 stories in this book, but Osho has chosen this one as the first one. And he has especially mentioned, this is one of the most beautiful stories I have come across. So the flowers are not ordinary flowers, not falling down from trees. These are the musical flowers, the flowers of soundless sound. Okay, Abhiru, thank you for your questions.
I just want to sing like falling leaves, blowing away, words disappear, and all I can say is I love you.
And this was just the first episode of the beginning of this series. And we will continue. There are at least 150 titles, and everywhere the hidden meaning is Om. It's a surprise. I was also surprised when I realized this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Namaste. Love you.
Namaste.
Big hug. Big hug to Priya.